welcome to the Let's Play Hockey podcast. We are with regional scout Tom Holler and former Hobie Baker Award winner Mr. Hockey Brian Bonin. And we're here to talk Minnesota Wild. We are post Colorado series here. The Wild got to the second round. They did not get past the second round and the vaunted Avs. Lots to talk about with the Wild. I think with that series with Colorado, possibly a missed opportunity there. And obviously with a lot coming up here in the offseason, guys. First, want to get your thoughts on the series as a whole. Uh, I think that was a series that went 5 games. Certainly should have went six, and maybe a healthy Wild team it goes seven, and maybe we're playing the Vegas Knights right now. But that didn't happen, and yeah, just curious to get your guys' thoughts. What did you think? Going into it, I think we all were kind of like, it's gonna be tough. But I guess I didn't think it'd be a 5 gamer. I thought it'd go more.
I took the Avs in six, relying on the Costanza advantage that just maybe it would tip our way. But once Boldy, once Eck and Brodin were out, oof.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, down the drain it went.
Do you
Um,
you think they would have made the difference? A difference? They would have
I
made a
think we would
difference.
have
Wasn't
had
necessarily the
a
difference.
I think it would have been I don't think you would have seen the Jekyll and Hyde effort that we saw from 2 to 3 and 3 looking like, hey, where's this team been? And then 4, not even 48 hours later, it's like they've never played a game in their lives before. And they couldn't get out of their own zone. It was just like, what is happening here? I think with Eck and Brodin, you wouldn't have had that extreme swing. You would have had more structural defense through the center alley, which is everything. And I think, it would have gone six and been competitive, maybe seven, maybe, who knows. But in the end, the Avs would have still won the series.
Brian?
Yeah, we had a really nice team this year. I just think the Avs were and are just that much better. Now we're going to see what happens here with this Vegas series because I got some thoughts on that too. But yeah, I mean, looking at Brodin, he only played 5 games in the playoffs. He just takes a couple more minutes. Same with Brodin. I think as we get into what does the offseason look like, what should this team look like? Do we really have a number one center or not? I think if you look at the other teams in the playoffs, you need a number one and a number two.
Yeah.
That said, it's kind of odd. Like Quinn Hughes, and he was plus 10, Faber plus 11. So with all those minutes, they were still plus players, like high plus players.
Yeah.
Man, they looked tired. So
They did.
it's pretty easy to go, oh, we could have gone one more game with the Avs, or maybe Eck and Brody and push us a little further. That's only 2 series in.
Yeah.
So we overloaded our fellas. You need that
Depth.
top line guy, and Eck comes in on the second level.
Yes.
I think we all talked a little bit on our text chain about Makar going down. It didn't seem like that even affected the Avs.
Right.
And he's top 2D in the whole league. I mean, argument, he and Quinn Hughes. Well, he goes down, and the Avs didn't get worse. They got better. I mean, they just kept coming. So I think that tells you a little bit about the lineup. Certainly, I think it helps us, though, to just take a load off some of the players that can't play the positions needed when you go against these top players. So yeah, it's a little disappointing because we were good. We were fun to watch, and this was going to be a great series. I just think it's the same series that the Avs wanted. They wanted to run and gun too. So we saw some great hockey, folks. We really did.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think we talk about Hughes and Faber, and obviously a great pair, probably the best in the game. Playing all those minutes, a big reason for that is just our defensive depth. That just doesn't seem to be up to par. We talk a lot about the 1C But we don't talk a lot about the number 4 and number 5 D. And I think that's kind of where we really got exposed, uh, with Middleton and Bogosian. Just couldn't really keep up with Colorado's speed. You
Yep.
know, regular season as 5-6 D guys, with Brodin going down, now you got to put one of those guys in the top 4 pair. I know Middleton's been there quite a bit, but um, yeah, I mean, we kind of got exposed. I think where you say McCarr goes down and it's just next man up, but we don't got next man. We're kind of off on the scrap heap, being like, oh man, we got to just kind of put this guy out in certain situations where we're not going to get totally burned. And we got burned a couple times at that overtime goal. And Midzi, everybody loves him. Uh, but
He's a
gosh,
total dude.
they gotta do something there. I mean, is Damon Hunt the answer? Is it time to give Lambos a shot? Or do you go out and do you try to sign another D man? Maybe we wait on the 1C for another year. You got to re-sign Hughes. Do you go try to bolster your blue line, wait on the 1C until the free agent market improves because it's not great this year. And then we're gonna
It's
have more
not.
cap space in 2027 anyway. So and Tom, you
I-
had talked about that pre-pod, do we wait on that? Do we wait on the 1C and focus on some other areas?
Yeah. I mean, I think you look at, you're gonna lose Bogosian. I mean, he's a free agent, UFA. I don't know that you bring him back. I mean, good guy, great guy. He's likable enough. He's a good dude, but it's time. We just got to get quicker. We got to get some more youth, some speed back there. Middleton, he's never played quite like that, if I'm not mistaken. He's never played that poorly. And I just, maybe Bonin can expand on this, but I just think the pace of the game just overwhelmed him. He hung in there fairly well against Dallas, as good as they are, but Colorado's just that, it's just a notch faster. Their processing is off the charts. Their team speed, their vertical team speed is just insane. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And they're all seemingly long with that reach. And I think like Middleton and Spurgeon just overwhelmed with that. We all were as a team. But like you say, defensively, I mean, I think Hunt played fairly well for coming in, kind of raw and not playing for a little bit. I think he adapted decent enough and held his own. So there's some signs there for potential growth and development. And I think, you look at Lambos and you look at who's our new guy, that monster, that Viking. Let's see what they got. Throw them out there. We got to get younger and faster in that third pair D. I think Billy Guerin's gonna try to do all he can for a 1C, and this kind of brings in Bryan and Bryan that all of a sudden now with Gustafson needing surgery, that kind of changes our trade proposals this July, right?
You know, I wanted to trade a goalie because I think there was a desire in the marketplace for it. We needed one more big trade. And this was one of the years to do it. You need a goalie. I think there's a myth out there that you kind of need two goalies. I'm trying to think of the last team that used two goalies. You ride Vasilevsky, you ride what's his name in Florida. One of my favorites. He's been around forever. A lot of times you're riding one guy. If I remember correctly, Vegas ran like 5 guys one year. I just don't know if goalie is the place when you have two. And so now, interesting, we've got an issue there, and we had an opportunity, and now we got to go back to the drawing board here with we got to sign Hughes, and then we got to look at that future and say what do we need? We got to get him first, and then do we go big or do we go size? But the offseason's really tough.
It is.
Everybody's looking for the same thing.
Yeah, right.
Everybody. looking for the same thing. Now, one thing I really like about the Hughes opportunity here is there's no better team in this league for him to play. His style of play, playing for Billy G, we got the team. Yep, we got the team there. So we should have the ability to maybe draw some other guys in. But who are you drawing in? We've talked a little bit about McCarron. You grab a guy like that. You grab Foligno. You grab these tough guys for the playoffs because you need them too for the run, right? But where's that speed? So I'm real interested to see what happens this Colorado, Vegas series. And looking back at the past couple of years, most of these Cup teams are built and they're deep. And in fact, I just pulled up all the rosters because every time I look, they got these giants on their list. But did you look at Vegas's list? I mean, Theodore is a small guy at 6'2", but the Mega's 6'6", McNabb 6'4", Luzon 6'3", Korzak 6'3", Hutton 6'3", Hannafin 6'3". 2 or 3 guys go down and they're still good.
Yeah.
So how do you bolster that side of things? Because I don't ever see those guys running around on the ice much. You don't. So I think we just got caught in a game when you go back to a Middleton, Hunt. I mean, they got into a game and there was space because the game was so fast both ways. And the Avs were like, we dare you. Because we're going to back check you and catch you. And if we catch you, you're screwed. And they proved that, by the way. They flat out proved it. Final goal. The D back checks the top 5 guy in the world right now, Kaprizov, deflects the puck, gets back on his horse and scores the game winner.
Yep.
Whoa. And he played on 3 teams this year. That just tells you.
Right.
Speed matters.
Kulak. Was that Brett Kulak?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Drury. They kept coming. It's hard to find though. So I don't want to give, too much credit either to the Avs or some of these other teams. Your players that you draft got to be good at the right time. And there's some guessing in this.
Yep.
On some of these teams too. They pick players here and there. Billy G made a pretty good effort there. I'm circling that all the way back to the goalie. We should have traded one. Maybe he tried to. There was a couple of players there I think we should have tried to get. Might have worked, might not. Maybe it's bad in the room. Maybe it's not. It's just not that easy because as good as the Ducks are going like this with all that youth, you better hope those other old guys don't get older too quick.
And Utah too.
Exactly.
They're right there, and they're big.
Yeah. So
we struggle.
There's a lot of balance. Yeah, a lot of balance there. It's a lot harder than people think, and all those contracts. But I'd say right now, our job is to sign Hughes, and in the next 3 years, we try to win a cup. After that, that's a different world 3 years from now. We got to be focused in on him. Who cares about Jack Hughes? Who they can go play together in LA 3 years from now.
Yeah.
Well,
that's all. Yeah. Go ahead,
Tom.
Oh,
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say that there's topics that just start to, annoy me, and I'm easily annoyed as I age, but it's just some of the New York media. Oh, Jack Hughes, New Jersey Devil. Quinn isn't going to New Jersey. 3 years from now, or what would be 4 years, maybe, but that's when Jack's contract is up, which is 6 years out. Okay. And they'd have to deal a massive trade to get all those parties aligned. And I think that's more wishful thinking that all the brothers want to be warm and fuzzy and play together. Give me a break. Quinn is going to be with the Wild. It's a 3-year deal. I'm going to predict 3 years at 15 AAV. We've got the cap for it. We can still sign McCarron, give him a nice bump. And if McCarron walks for even more money, well, what are you going to do? But we can do that. And I think the overall thing here is there's not a great free agent crop unless Guerin pulls some rabbit out of the hat in a trade and gives up more prospects, which makes me nervous. Fine for a 1C if it's legit. We also know that he'll go to a wing if he has to. But how do you get Brady Tkachuk at $8.5 million with a future raise? Who are we giving up to get him? I don't know who that might be, but okay. So I don't want to be boring, but I think with the weak free agency this year and with what cap we have available, re-sign the base, see what you can get for cheap, and you got to let the Nick Folignos, the Marcus Johanssons, um, Bogosian, players like that are going to have to walk, and we try to get in some length and speed to bolster our bottom six and our third pair D. And like Z alluded to earlier, the we get a first round pick back in 27 and July 1st of 27. Okay. So what are we saying? 13 and a half months from now. Uh, you're looking at the Wild with an additional 8 million in cap from 26 to 27 from the league. Okay. You're going to take that 8 million and what is to be projected at, I believe, 43 million in cap space for the Wild. That's $51 million in cap space July 1st. You don't solve everything in free agency, but with that kind of cap, that's a big summer next year. And I think
And a big
we're
pool of
all, as Wild
talent.
fans, we're sick to death of just wait till next year. But man, I'm telling you, get Quinn in, regroup, learn from this, and really make a push in 27 to shape the team in the future.
Yeah, you talk about getting some guys off the books. I'm just going to go through a list of our unrestricted free agents here. Top of the list is Zuccarello. He makes
You,
a little bit over 4 mil, 38 years old. Took a couple hits this year that knocked him out of the lineup for a pretty good period of time. Obviously, him and 97 are buds, and they're what
he'll be back.
does he sign for less, a 1 year deal?
Yes. I think he'll take a 1 year sweetheart deal and do one more ride.
Okay. Then you got JoJo. He's signed for the league minimum, 35 years old. I thought he had a good year at what we were paying him. I don't know if he's going to take that deal again. If he doesn't, do you let him walk?
Yes. Nice regular season player. Sharman in the playoffs. Toodaloo.
Then we got Vladimir Tarasenko. We got him for the playoffs, and he was kind of a ghost.
Casperitis disease. Toodaloo part due.
And he's 34 years old, and he's just under 5 mil salary.
Woo.
So,
Oof.
Bonin, what are your thoughts on those three guys?
If we back it up even before that, cap space, waiting a year. I want to win now. So if I look at all the other teams in the league too, the guessing that takes place. So let's see what we can do next year. Carolina, they made a big trade and got Rantanen, and then they lost Rantanen, and somehow they lost Natchez. I don't know how that happened, but that was a bad move.
Yeah. And here they are.
Whoa. Yet, here they are. And so don't tell me they knew Stankoven was going to fall into this line and Taylor Hall was going to start to get better and Jason Blake was going to, so some of this is the right time, right place. Zuccarello, I say you bring him back. He's great during the regular season. You got to be thinking about that for the playoffs. He just is older. One more year each year. Same with Hartman. I like Hartman too. I don't know what to do with him. He's under contract, but one more year, it just beats your body up. So trying to think of where can we place certain guys? I think we got to start to think about that earlier on in the season. Who are the four guys for the fourth line and who are the four guys for the third line? And that third line flies. I mean, four guys that fly. And then you got your top six. So who can we just slowly but surely tuck in there somehow, some way? And we got a pretty good top six. I think if you get Hughes done, that pulls in some other players. So that is by far the number one deal we got to do. And I don't like the 15 mil you talked about, Tom, because I was mad day one on Kaprizov. Now the NHLPA probably was certainly behind it because it's like, hey, everybody, we're all going to get paid more. Yeah, yes and no. So I'm mad about that one because I think somehow, some way, Kirill should have said, I want 17, and Guerin should have said, tell me who your best buddy is. Like, let's get Barkov or somebody from Florida. Like, can you guys both sign? I mean, do something. Because I thought Tarasenko was going to be soft, and he was.
Yeah. You know what I go back to is Leopold. What was it? 2 years ago, he started saying, well, we're going to be able to offer Kirill more term and more AAV than anybody, and we will. Geez, Leopold. I mean, I'm not saying Trump, but I'm just saying you might want to buy the book, The Art of the Deal, because saying you'll pay whatever it takes out of the gate might not be the best negotiating tactic.
Gosh, well, if you think about it, I think the players have figured it out a little bit, or maybe got to educate them. And Billy's a good guy to educate them. Like, again, my point to Quinn. Quinn, are you sure you want to play with your three brothers? The three of you in Jersey. Are you sure that's going to be good for the locker room? Are you sure you want to even be in Jersey? So here's the deal. Let's win a cup in the next 3 years and sit on the beach in LA 3 years from now.
Right.
Like, you'll get your chance, okay? But now is the chance to win. I mean, 12 million a year versus 15, that gives me $3 million to get. Who do you want? Who do you think we should get to win? Do you need more than 12? I mean, I know it's your next to last contract, or maybe that's $12 million. Like, for crying out loud. Do you want to win or not?
Right.
Like, this is your one chance. You're going to get old too. So let's talk through that process. And I know Kaprizov is a Russian, and who knows how that all played out. But I got to tell you, after that happened with Eichel, with McDavid, some players have chosen a different path. I don't even know what Mitch Marner did. I got to look back on Marner because he's my big surprise in the playoffs. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Toronto had a bad year, and everybody's firing the coaches and getting mad at Toronto, and they just happened to lose the top leading scorer in the NHL playoffs. Lo and behold, it matters who you sign.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Hey, we got an organization that wins. We'll put you on the right line. And I had Marner during the regular season the last 2 years in fantasy puck, which I know is a lame leverage point here, but that guy's pissed me off to no end, and now he's just going off because he's on the right line. Tortorella's in the mix. All of a sudden, the team's grittier, and now Marner looks around and goes, "God dang, I got to play grittier too. Look at me go!" And he is going off. And yeah, Toronto, Edmonton. Oh, it's the coach's fault. It's not us. Oh, new GMs, and they hired a GM in Toronto that was suspended by the league in Arizona, and it hasn't been in hockey in any way, shape, or form in 5 years. And you're going to run the Maple Leafs? Oy. So the Kirill contract, I think on the surface, I agree with you. It's the pressure's on, Kirill. Uh, Better head down to Kramarchik's and get that pierogi and all those sandwiches ready to go because you're going to need it. But I think in 2, 3 years, as that cap keeps going up, people are going to see, oh, now all these friendly contracts that Eichel and McDavid signed, which expire in 2 years, they're going to go after 22 million a year. And all of a sudden we got Kirill for 17. 3 years from now, that's going to be a normal contract. But you're right, Brian, Bonin. We got to, the window is now. The next 2, 3 years, this is it. Let's go. And so it's going to be one hell of an interesting summer, which is fun.
One thing too, we just got out of the Suter Parisi contracts, right?
No, wrong. You know what sucks about that? And I know it's minimal. We owe those two together 1.7 mil, 3 more years.
No
And that
way.
goes against the cap?
Yep. 1.7 mil. It's actually 1.67 to be that guy. But where I come from, it's 1.7, which that's a nice player. There's your fifth, sixth defenseman. There's your fourth line grinder. And you're still paying these guys, get this, through April of 2029. They each get 885, I believe.
Wow.
Didn't that just make you sick?
Wow.
Sorry, Z.
Thank goodness.
But yeah,
The cap is going up, but you're right. It's those little amounts, and just looking around UFAs, trying to figure out who we could grab or not, and then looking at other teams, and a lot of teams got some boat anchors too. Thomas Hurdle makes about 6.5, 7 million in Vegas. He's not doing as well anymore, but Dorofeev is 1.8.
he's a
So
stud.
he is. It's like you got to get the sneakiness in this process too. And I just would say at the trade deadline, if you look at what we did this year at the deadline, Karen, Foligno, Fabry, Brink, who else? I mean, just stuff that it wasn't making us any better.
Right.
And I know it's hard, but boy, it would be nice to have a couple bucks in there. And I know we were strapped, but now we're moving forward into this. Like, we got to think that way. Hopefully Billy's thinking that way. Throws me back to the goalie. By the way, if we think about Minnesota once, we have a great goalie every year. We seem to find a new goalie. So again, anyone on the trade block, if you ask me, and I just heard rumors that our goalies were both wanted and we should have sold one of them is what I'm thinking.
Well, it sounds like he was shopping Jesper, and Yurov, and I don't know, it's internet talk, but I think it came from Russo that for Thomas, and they turned it down.
They wanted even more,
this is
right?
when Jesper wasn't he wasn't playing as well as
obviously
he did towards the end of the year, but
Thomas in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
and did they want
turned it
even
down.
more from us?
He offered Jesper and Yurov for Thomas.
And that wasn't enough?
And apparently not.
Wow. And I heard the same from the Rangers for Trocheck. They wanted even Billy was like, that's too much.
Well, and now they're all going to want Wallstead, and I don't think we can give him up now.
No, you can't.
No,
Otherwise, you're out there next fall.
Yeah. And there might be a team out there that if Gus is a number one guy, we're not going to get anything in return other than the cap space, of someone else taking on his contract. But that might be out there. You talked a little bit about McCarron, bringing him back. I wonder what he's going to bring.
Well,
for an ask as far as money, as far as AAV, or how many years.
It's weird.
We can't get caught in a 4 or 5 year deal like we have gotten caught now with Middleton and Gus.
Totally.
With a apparently a quote 1C that maybe isn't the guy that we need.
I mean, there's probably a sliding scale, right? With a McCarron, it's like length, size, grit, can throw down the knuckles when he needs to. And here and there, he can make some plays. And like Bonin says, there's a guy on the third or fourth line that you're going to need in April and May if you want to make hay. And he's only making 900,000. And everything I read, in the Twitter sphere, whatever you want to call it, and even Russo will say, well, this guy's going to get paid. He's going to get a couple mil. And I'm like, was his run that great? Maybe. It was decent. And he'll get a raise, but I mean, if you gave him a 400% raise, he's still only making 3.6, barely 4. Well, we could incur the Kaprizov increase, the Quinn increase. We can pay McCarron $4 million, and that's a 400% increase, right? Just a little over. And you'll still have enough money for, well, we need a body. Let's get Brink back. Let's get so-and-so back. You can do that for 900 grand a year. So if McCarron takes 3.5, 4 million, that's a hell of a raise. And if he wants more than that, do you let him walk? I guess you do, and you go get another McCarron, right?
Yeah.
He's not that good. He's not that good. I'm sorry, fellas.
That's a high price for him, right?
I mean, And again, another really hard thing to see through as a
Right.
GM. That's a tough job. Back to Trocheck. I'm glad we didn't do that deal. I didn't like him. I don't mind Thomas, but I mean, I wanted a guy like
Right.
Chuck, or like you got to go big. You got to find a way to go
Right.
big. Ryan
Right.
O'Reilly, somebody big down the middle, or
Right.
don't just do a deal to do a deal. So in the end, I'm glad Billy didn't just throw stuff away. You gotta challenge some of these other fellas. But now we're gonna get into that mix. And sometimes what happens in this nonsense is somebody plays well, and all of a sudden they think they're good, and they just had an unbelievable run. And if the timing's bad, like McCarron, we love you right here in this spot for $1 million. You're a good player. You're not better than
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're not. And I don't know how you blame guys in today's day and age, though, too. If he's like, well, yeah, but LA will give me $4 million a year. If I'm him, good chance I'm going to LA for $4 million a year over 4 years, right?
Yep.
Well,
So
that's a no-brainer. Yeah.
oh man, you
Yeah.
just get so caught right at the wrong time with the right guys. That's a lot of this too. It just is, right?
And I mean, there will be people that argue this, and maybe my take is wrong, but I doubt it. But when you're that guy, when you're McCarron, and you're going, okay, that's going to be an interesting summer for me. The cap's going up to 10 million. There's teams out there going to want me. And you're right. Hey, LA, Anaheim, San Jose now is up and comer too. But you know what? That California tax system, not good. Maybe even worse than Suffer Soda. So, the Stars, the Panthers, the Bolts, the Predators, back to the Predators, maybe for McCarron. That's a factor. If you're going from 900 grand to 4 mil, and I don't have to pay state tax, let me think. Yep, I'll go there.
I know. I know. I feel bad for the Canadian teams. Like what we just don't even think about them or talk about them. But man, they're just so under the gun and under the pressure. And that's why it's great to see like Montreal doing well. But Martin St. Louis, whatever. You got lucky as could be. You didn't know these guys were going to be that good. They're playing great right now. I'm so glad to see it, but that's hard to do. And by the way, as soon as they get good, it's going to be hard to keep them.
Yep. Yep. They're up 2-0 with 11 to go in the second, by the way.
One
The Habs
one
of
name
Montreal.
one name I want to throw out to you guys, and I wonder if he would be a fit, if he would take less money, if he's a guy we can get on a 1 to 2 year deal to fill a gap in the middle.
Bring it. Bring it.
Anders Lee. Do you like him in a Wild uniform or not? He makes $7 million, but I think he's a free agent. I don't know where he's going to go, what's going to happen there.
Bonin.
I wanted him at the deadline. I thought he was just going to be a good fit. I wasn't really sure about our bottom two lines, but another just big body that sits in there. You need some of those as well. So there was something about that to me, Minnesota guy, he's at the end. This will give him a spark. Do the Islanders really care? Come on, we got to find a way to snab him. I thought that would have been easy. I'm a little worried about next year. I don't know though, price wise, I like the way he plays. So he could be one of those sneaky guys that we just kind of throw in the lineup, like here and there. He's going to do well, whatever line he's on. He's going to fit well in the team. Maybe he was a captain. He could be someone that you like him or don't like him. Couturier in Philly, the whole rumor that they threw him into a role and were like, dude, you're old now. You're not as good anymore. Play fourth line as our captain. And he did it.
Yep.
Jordan Staal in Carolina. He's not good anymore. Playing that role pretty well.
Yep.
Only because the guys around him. So that's why I wanted Lee before. And so I'd say we got to take a look at that.
They really help the young guys too, don't they? In the strategy sessions, the film room, the locker room.
Yeah. So is Lee, come on, he's made enough money. Maybe not playing at home will be that much fun with all the people bothering you. But can he find a way to go, what the hell? I want to play in Minnesota. And again, playing for Billy G and the team we have a place to play, man. We do.
Well, yeah, having a chance to make I mean, to make history. We don't have a cup here. We've never won a cup. We haven't won a friggin' title in 1,000 years, it seems like. So to be a part of that and to be
35.
from Minnesota, I think would be a little bit of a magnet. It's kind of pulling a guy like Lee, come back home, finish my career there, and maybe hoist a cup and be a part of history here.
If
Because
you
because
if
there's
you
a
could
window
get
and
yeah,
it's
if
small.
is is Anders with Z, do you have your internet up and running?
He's with
Yeah.
Neil Sheehy.
Or
He's with Sheehy if you're going
Bonin?
to ask an agent.
Who he's with who?
Neil Sheehy.
Okay, and he's what's the group he's with?
Well, Sheehy's local.
Is he
Yeah.
with Octagon?
No,
Oh, okay.
can't remember what it's called.
Okay. So if you can get a hold of Anders Lee, that's a great question, Z. If you can get a hold of Anders, I agree with Bonin. He's 35, so I doubt he'd want a 1 year, but a 2 year deal at 4.5, which you can do even after Quinn. Bye McCarron, and there's your Anders Lee. If you would take that cut to 4.5, and do a 2 year deal, so he's got term, close out your career here. Boy, that wouldn't bother me at all. Normally, I'd be like, he's old, production's down. But Bonin's right. The size, the length, the grit, the experience, uh, helping the young guys come up like Urov. Um, boy, I'd go. That would be fine with me because he's got that size and he's got the grit. Um,
And
and those
he's
guys
gonna he's
all
gonna
those
score
guys are
20
all down
goals.
at yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. So he'd be more productive than McCarron. I mean, would he take that cut though? I don't know.
Yeah.
But those guys all play at Braemar together half the summer. Not the beauty league, but they're always down there in their octagon jerseys and scrimmaging each other. And they whether they're, whoever they play for professionally, 80% of those guys live in Tonka Edina and they're all down there all summer. It's like, hey, Anders, what do you say? Full circle, baby. It's
Yeah.
time.
Let's
But who knows?
get some get some negotiations going on the golf course.
Yeah,
Brock
Uh,
there's
Nelson, none watch because we talked about it and it's a pretty good idea. Brock Nelson will get a hold of him and he'll sign with Colorado for
that's the
two
only word.
million.
no.
Hey Sheehy, we didn't say that. Scratch that. Edit that out, Z. Edit that out.
Um, all right.
Oh,
Well, obviously a big off season upcoming here for the Wild. I think I wrote an article earlier this fall saying that if we got to the second round, it's obviously just we're moving in the right direction. And I don't think, you know, we expected maybe a Stanley Cup this year or to get into the finals, but maybe to get
no.
into the conference finals was certainly on our radar. But it didn't happen. But we did make some improvements. We got to the second round without injuries. Perhaps we get a little bit further, or at least we give them a better series. But Tom, you look like you're deep in thought. What do you got for me?
This is a question for both of you. Um, you don't want to overreact, but you don't want to underreact either because you see teams like Edmonton and Toronto. Oh, coach, get out of here. It's like, you just fired Craig Berube? Really? It's his fault? And the guy in Edmonton, Knobloch, right? He did. I mean, yeah, the team's got talent, but they had no goalie and their D was lacking. And oh, by the way, you just went to two straight cups with that guy, did you not? And you fired him. So, and Cassidy's out there. There's three or four coaches out there. So here it comes. Do we need an upgrade at head coach? I thought he got a little bit stagnant at times. And I think you can see what in Anaheim, what a coach can do because Anaheim's got young talent, but man, that's all Quenneville to me. their playoff run, that was Quenneville raising that team up. And I just wonder, do we have the right guy to take us to the next level in Hines?
I'm not sure. I don't love his track record. So I'm a little caught on that one.
Right.
Do you the new thing though, is it at all when you have a decent team? The way the season probably will go, if we can keep Hughes and the boys around, it'll probably go well. It'll start well. I just think it will. We got enough good players. Injuries, we stay off of that, that wagon. I think we're okay. Guys seem to get tired of coaches, and it's a long season. So do you sit back and do what Vegas did this year and what a bunch of the other teams did, or not? Because just bringing in some new fella isn't necessarily going to fix everything either.
Right.
So that's a tough one, because I've thought the same. Like, I like Cassidy. Well, what do I like about him? I mean, are we sure we like him? How do we know? When you have a good team, it's a lot easier to be a good coach.
Right.
And so there's a balance there. I would worry about a little too reactive on this one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good coaches, it seems. Tortorella was in like the NHL Tonight booth, and all of a sudden he's behind the bench. So I don't know how the heck they make this work, but they seem to make it work.
Is it because Vegas has that? They've got the upper tier talent. They've got that middle structure. They've got depth on defense. Holy smokes. So is that why they're able to just go, oh, you know what? It's April 5th. Let's have a new coach. Is that why they can get away with it? Because it's there. The team is there. The roster's there.
Yeah, there's a bit of that, I think. You can't underestimate that roster. I mean, Marner and Eichel is a number one center. I mean, that guy flies. He doesn't even try, by the way. He's not even trying, and he's flying around. So that makes a difference. And let's see where we are at there, because even like a Berube, he found a way to get that done in St. Louis. That tells me he's a guy you could bring in at the end or halfway through the season, let's say. I don't know what we got left on Hines. So I'd have to look into that a little bit.
I think he's got one more year, but that's where they're like, well, how come he hasn't been extended? I don't know.
Bonin, you've played in the NHL, so you know how much of it is from a coaching standpoint, how much of it is implementing strategy, especially when it comes to special teams, and how much of it is getting the players playing together, playing for each other, motivating them, or is it, maybe a 50-50 deal there?
Well, that's the tough part, right? I mean, how do you help some of these top end players? And, no one really likes to be critiqued at any time. You probably don't want to be critiqued when you're a really good player. So that is the toughest job, I think. Is probably pretty easy for Tortorella to be yelling at the third and fourth line, because those guys, they're just like, they're used to it. And they run around, and they just run guys over, and they're, having a game all the time. But when you're trying to make plays, that's hard. I mean, how are you supposed to tell Boldy, like, you should have, hey, listen, buddy, let me tell you what I should have done or should have not done. And I almost got killed, so I was trying not to. And by the way, did you see the play when I reached out to try to get the puck and McKinnon did killed me? I mean, knocked him silly, knocked him into next year. So there's a bit of that piece that you so have to balance the suggestion or not. And at some time, hey, did you see the guy in the back door? Here's their tendency. But at some point, you might have to say, hey, Hughes, come on, shoot the freaking puck, dude. And he might not take that well, but you need the right coach at the right time. And that's, the player's coach versus the non-player coach. I think that's probably tougher than ever in this league. It has to be.
Right. And it feels like when that message comes from, with all due respect, a John Hines, it's like, well, okay, guy. But when it's Berube, when it's Tortorella, when it's a coach who's got a couple rings on his hand, it's like, yes, sir. Get duly noted. Got it.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably some of that.
having Eck in the lineup, that guy in the lineup and that voice, that also matters.
It does.
It just does. There is something there that, like, get on my back, boys. And so you can't underestimate that either. You need those guys in uniform, and that's hard to find, man. It's just really, really hard to find, and that they don't blow up, that they just calm the room down, because you play good and bad at times.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
Well, I don't think anyone was really out saying that the Wild got out coached that series. I think it was more the Wild got outplayed. They got outskated. Um, so and Hines, if you listen to the press conference today with Billy G and Hines ain't going nowhere. That's his guy. He's going to stick with them. Um,
I
and
just
I don't think a change there. It could
I
almost
just
go
for the
it could
life of
almost go
me,
the other way on us, maybe,
yeah, it was it game 5 when Hines went back to Spurgeon and Middleton together, and it's just like, oh, dude, what are we doing here? There's
Yeah.
just some moves that I don't know. Maybe it's over my pay grade, which could very well be true.
Yeah. Well, there's certainly, did we go into a defensive shell or did Colorado just turn it up to that gear that only they have, you know? And he touched on that a little bit today
Sometimes
in the press conference too, and just saying, we have to be able to react when they're going like gangbusters and they're pinching everywhere. We got to get down to detail and make sure that we know what they're doing so we can be reactive to it. And maybe they weren't, and maybe that's on him, as a coach. Uh, but yeah, I mean it's tough. I don't think coaching's the issue here. I think injuries were the bigger issue. I think lack of depth is probably the biggest issue.
the roster, yeah.
and again, right, everyone's wondering, thinking, panicking, altering, trying. You don't know all the stuff going on in a room, right? So Spurgeon, Middleton, what's the mix? What's not the mix? You're trying to think all year, how are we doing? Is someone tired or not tired? Are they? I mean, gosh, that is hard to do. Way harder than we all probably think. And so now more than ever, I mean, these are big boys out there, and they're going pretty hard. And sometimes they don't know when they're hurt. So, like, you got it for me tonight? Yeah, I got it. But that might not be true. Or, hey, I need you tonight. I don't care if you got it or not. And
Yeah.
no rest for the weary, man. Right? There just
As
isn't.
much as it's been a revelation to see Quinn Hughes, on a weekly basis, a couple times a week this season with the Wild, and really appreciate his game, which has so much deception. He's dancing at the blue line, but the edge work, as much as I don't know that I can recall an NHL player that can stop on a dime and has the four-way edge work that Quinn Hughes does. As much as Quinn's in that box, going back through history to through the 80s and down into the late 70s, have we ever seen, and I mean, McDavid's McDavid, no doubt, but when McKinnon decides to go and he's got that puck and he's going up ice, have you ever seen the power stride, the ground he covers, and the freight train speed? Have we seen that before? Because my God, man, that's something to watch. Oh,
It is. I don't think we have ever. And maybe you could take a look at, in his time, Lindros or Cam Neely.
yep.
Maybe even you could go back to Gordie Howe. I don't know. I was too young, probably. But you start to think of that. You're right, because McDavid is another one that when he goes, it's like unstoppable. But he's not that machine.
That bull
That,
rush,
that
right?
bull rush that McKinnon is. That you're just getting a whole different level of, like. There's a couple times he comes down. He's going so fast. He makes the move, and you deflect the puck away. So now he goes in the corner, and you chase him, and he sticks his ass out. And when you run into him, it's like oh my, he was so strong.
Right.
It hurt some guys when they just ran into him.
Yeah.
That's different than McDavid. If you chase McDavid in the
Right.
corner and you get him, he'll make a pass.
Yep.
Once he knows he doesn't have the play,
Yep.
he doesn't like to get pinned.
Right.
McKinnon sticks his ass out and says, "You pick that way, I go the other."
Yeah. And I'm
He's
gonna tear your ACL while I do it.
yes, like it.
Man.
Well, it's
They
funny
got
you
they got
said
lucky, man. I love their team, but they got a little lucky. Natchez was a big pickup. Brock
Yep.
Nelson, big pickup.
Yep.
Gets in nicely. Natushkin coming back because he's fast and big. He
Yep.
just gets in the way, man. They some things fit there nicely.
I gotta root for them the rest of the way, don't you guys? I want to see Burnsy raise the cup. I
Yep.
just love that guy. Always have.
Good pickup, by the
he
way.
deserves one. Yeah.
That's a
Yep.
good pickup.
Yeah.
Sneaky.
Yep.
Reminds me of another guy that we gave up to Florida. Remember the defenseman we gave up to Florida? See if you guys come up with his name.
Oh, I know this. 'Cause
Kulikov.
yeah, and he goes and gets another cup.
But he was
And he
good
came
there.
from Florida. And he struggled. It's like the Minnesota trade clause. I mean, that's another pod entirely later, but the amount of players that come here and then they leave. Ortiz, Garnett, Gabrick. It's just like, my God, it never ends. And then you get a guy like Brent Kulikov, and it's like, of course. God. Hey, how about the power of the 1C? You take Barkov out of that lineup, ACL tear in training camp, non-contact. It's like, oh, Eck, please don't.
I know.
But Sasha Barkov goes down, and Florida, valiant effort. That's it. They're done. Can't compete.
You can't. You just can't.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's the only thing that kept the Kings going too. I mean, Kopitar's playing on one leg basically. He just
Yeah.
really is, but he's still solid.
Yeah.
He's another
we'll
free agent.
We're gonna miss him.
Anjay's done.
Yeah, he's done. We're gonna miss him.
He's raising his kids now, and God bless him. What a player.
All right, boys. Well, like I said, lots to be decided here. Billy G said today they're still decompressing, so don't expect any news anytime soon. I think they can start talking to Husey on July 1st. So we'll see if that deal gets done. It's got to get done. I think it does get done. And then we can start figuring out the other pieces.
On that note, I think you're right, because Garen said that. I think that means come July 1st, just stick to your 4th of July plans, because that contract won't happen. That'll happen, I'll put it this way. I'll bet you Quinn resigns 3 by 15, and I'll bet you the Vikings are kicking off the new season when that's announced.
Oh, here we
It
go.
won't be in July or August.
You think so, huh? All right.
Based on the past, my friend.
Brian, you think 3 and 15? You think those numbers match up, or you think it's going to cost us more dollars AAV or more years?
I think he'll want just 3, so that'll be the problem. Like just trying to tie it right into that timing. I think the answer just has to be, we're probably going to pay whatever it takes. Billy's got to go like, listen, we want you. We need to know what you want. We'll give you 15. Is that really what you want to do? I mean, is that really what we want to do together? That's kind of the question. I think today you got to get the big boy pants on, and that negotiating stuff has to get into the real shit, because it matters. It just matters. Right. And you might as well find out right from the very beginning. Like, Hughes, you're going to take 15. That's fine. But you're making that choice, and I asked you. I mean, I think you got to do a little bit of that. If that had to have happened with McDavid, it had to have happened.
Yeah.
He didn't. They just didn't talk. And one day, the agent called back and said, "Hey, McDavid said he'll take 12. Bye." No. There was a conversation that happened somehow, some way, because he doesn't take 12 for the hell of it. He could have taken whatever he wanted.
Right.
Same with Eichel. They could have they could have done something. So I have a feeling there's a conversation there that takes place. Like, 8 years at 10 million. What more do you want? Like, well, I want to win. I want to have some fun.
Right.
Well,
Let's
McDavid's
do
going to be
it.
the highest paid player in the league in when's he a free agent? Next year, right?
I
2027,
think,
right?
well, yeah, it depends. Boy, you talk about an interesting summer. Edmonton's going to have an interesting summer. Holy smokes.
I know.
And maybe during the season next year. I mean, you got to believe that McDavid and Draisaitl are like, look, it is Bowman, isn't it his kid or his grandson, whoever it is running it up there?
Yeah.
Ugh, what a
Yeah, but
disaster.
that train's left the station, I think, in Edmonton. They had their
I
shot and they just
agree.
didn't get it done. So I think both of them are gone.
Agree.
They're going to go
I
try
think
and win somewhere else. So,
Yep.
I
but
think so too. And I think they go separate ways.
probably,
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
McDavid to Montreal.
Him and
Ooh.
Caulfield.
I can't go to Toronto. Toronto sounds great, but that place has got a curse.
It is cursed.
We didn't talk about
It's
Austin Matthews about him coming here. I don't like it. I don't like him
I don't
for whatever
either.
reason. I don't think
I,
it'd be a good fit.
I think he's
Like
another
Nylander.
great stats regular season guy. He did okay in the Olympics, playing a little different role, but isn't he just come across as kind of soft? Like, yeah, that's a 1C, but it's not the 1C that we need.
Right.
The
That's
Wild doesn't need another soft player, right?
that's what I think. He's good.
He's good.
Um, he's good. So is Nylander. But remember, we're talking about 4 rounds. 4 rounds of getting the living crap kicked out of you.
Right.
Are you up for that? And a lot of
Right.
guys aren't. I wouldn't be. I'll raise my hand first. Pretty sure I wouldn't be. It beats you up. So you got to have that balance. And I think some people are built a different way. And there's nothing wrong with that. Then you
Right.
got to figure out the magic around it to let Marner be Marner, to let Kaprizov and Hughes be the players that they're supposed to be.
Right.
Right.
So, well, this will be good.
Yeah.
This will be good.
Good
More to come.
stuff.
All right, gentlemen. Thanks for joining the Let's Play Hockey podcast. We will be back soon, talking some other hockey news coming down the pipeline. Tom,
After
Bryan,
Memorial.
after Memorial. Yep. All
Yeah.
right.
Good.
Thanks, fellas. We'll talk soon.